sir, the purpose of a labour exchange is to provide employment, temporary or permanent. The fact is, I can't guarantee or recommend any applicant. Unless they have a criminal record, I'm in no position to say whether they're reliable or not.
It will be for 3 weeks only, monsieur, and the pay is good, eh?
But I can't guarantee that the man you employ can be trusted. I merely type out the details of the job offered and post it on the notice board. You must then choose from those who apply.
I am newly arrived in England, monsieur. It will be difficult for me to judge.
I tell you what. Why don't you try one of the independent agencies? Assignments Unlimited. Grosvenor 5995. The address, if you wish to call on them, is 33 Half Moon Street.
Aubrey Mason at your service. At Assignments Unlimited, we do anything, anywhere, at any time.
33 Half Moon Street.
Chips for the Fishmonger. Not all the tasks undertaken by Assignments Unlimited are spectacular or particularly dangerous. In fact, the unusual is the exception rather than the rule. The nervous little old Frenchman who came into my office requested the services of our organization for a task which was mundane in application and only unusual in a theatrical sense. I'd already mentally slotted Cannon into the vacant niche and wondered what his reaction would be. Monsieur Paul Duclair, for such was the client's name, wished the services of a night attendant over the preserved body of a dead whale. On reflection, it was perhaps an unusual request. I said so. You did say a dead whale, Monsieur Duclair.
A magnificent exhibit. A Greenland whale. I began with a blue sperm whale, but found it too large to transport through the doors of most halls that I hire.
Extraordinary.
You see, whalebone is immensely strong, and I discovered that if the inside of the beast is removed and the carcass inflated with air, it is possible to preserve the outer skin and membrane with formaldehyde. In time, the shell hardens and the air can be released.
Well, that's most interesting, Monsieur Duclair. I take it that you then exhibit the whale.
Oui. I have had great success in France, and I have now come to your country for a short tour of 3 weeks before I go on to the United States, where I hope to enjoy singular success.
Well, just out of interest, Monsieur Duclair, how do you pump up the whale in the first place?
Good question. On top of the head is contained a pocket of ambergris. This has a high commercial value, and when removed, leaves a small funnel leading to the interior of the beast. Into this, a hose is connected, and voila!
But don't you have to make a cut in the thing to clean it?
Oh, no, that is done through the mouth. So now we have a good circulation of air that helps to preserve the beast.
Some beast.
The greatest of all living things, monsieur. The noblest creature in all creation.
Yes, I'm sure. But what exactly do you wish us to do?
I require a night watchman of impeccable integrity. He will also be required during his tour of duty at night to pump formaldehyde into the creature.
It sounds simple enough. Why must the man's character be so blameless?
An exhibit of this nature is played to vandals, monsieur. Many times in France have I been accosted by those who would cut into the exhibit to satisfy their morbid curiosity that what I have on show is really the genuine article.
Well, needless to say, I have just the man for the job. I'm not sure how you'll take it. It's an odd request, but you may rest assured that no vandal will come near your whale.
I am delighted, Monsieur Mason.
What were you thinking of paying this night watchman?
I thought £15 a night.
Cannon will be happy to pump formaldehyde all night for that money.
I beg your pardon, monsieur?
Cannon, one of our men here. He'll be delighted to take on the job. Where and when must he report?
Oh, tonight, if it is possible, at the Exeter Hall in Camberwell.
He'll be there.
Cannon, you say?
That's right. I might send him down this afternoon just to give the place the once-over.
That would be admirable, Monsieur Mason. Thank you, and good day to you.
Good day, Monsieur Duclair. Whatever the peculiarities of our profession, we never refer to any task as an odd job. We try to avoid reading gardens wherever possible. But our boast is that we'll tackle anything. And it was to Cannon's sense of professional duty that I appealed when he came into my office. He left for Camberwell at 3:30, and I sensed that our relationship had become a little strained. An hour later, he reported back by telephone. Assignments unlimited.
You can say that again.
Oh, hello, Cannon. How are you making out?
Well, I've met de Gaulle's answer to Moby Dick, and I've had 5 minutes instruction on the formaldehyde pump.
Good. Is it a real well?
Are you kidding? The caretaker's Katz had a brainstorm. It's just my luck to get a job playing nursemaid to an oversized kipper.
Oh, it's only for 3 weeks, Cannon. You're part of show business.
Yeah, and everybody's having a whale of a time.
That was corny. Remember what Declare said about vandalism? It's on the cards that the Camberwell boys might take it into their heads to carve up its exhibit.
Well, if they do, it'll provide a light relief from the formaldehyde pump. Now, one thing about this guy Duclair, though, he's got a sense of humor. He slipped me a tip when I arrived.
Good for him. What was it?
A fin.
Well, time I was getting home, Mr. Cannon, I locked up everywhere.
Yeah, it was quite a night, wasn't it? Who would have thought this dump sported 1,000 Arctic theologists?
What's that, Mr. Cannon?
Fish fanciers.
You know, in all my years as caretaker here, I've never seen such a crowd. And just to look at a whale.
Well, now you got a new angle on a poor fish. Look, I'll lock the front door after you. What time are you coming in the morning?
Well, I don't usually get here till 10.
Then I won't see you, my friend. My French employer says he'll be here at 7.
What will you do about supper? There's a shop on the corner that stays open till 2, they say.
No, thanks. I'll munch on a sandwich. Good night.
Good night, Mr. Cannon.
Well, I guess I'll get out the formaldehyde pump, and then I can settle down with a magazine. I would have thought a guy could make money out of a dead whale. But this operator coins it. 2,000 times 2 shillings. Oh, boy. Well, Moby, here comes your first shot. What? Look. Hey, now I must be going crazy. That was a scream, and it didn't come from a dead whale. No. Doors all locked. There's nobody in the rafters. Now, I didn't imagine that. I don't believe in ghosts, but there's nobody here. Hey, wait a minute. What did Duclair say about the hollow inside of this whale? So somebody's being smart in Camberwell. Okay. Flashlight. The mouth, he said. Here we are. Okay, the party's over. Come on out of there. Why are you being smart? Come on out, you get. Well, now give.
Give?
Before I call the cops, you better come clean and tell me what the idea is, hiding inside that carcass.
The police? Oh, no.
You're foreigners. You mixed up with Monsieur Duclair?
No, sir. We are Russians.
Russians? Well, this gets screwier every minute. How'd you get in there?
We hid behind the veil during the lunchtime closing, then we climbed in through the mouth.
How did you know you could get in that way?
I think, Anushka, we better tell him everything. We, Anushka and I, are from the Russian Moskayev dancers. You have heard of the Moskayev folk dancers?
You were on at the Empire Hall.
That is so. We came here from France, and it was in France when we first saw the veil and learned that the interior was hollow. The Moskayev company is due to return to Russia on the day after tomorrow, and Anushka and I decided to escape.
Escape? From what?
From Russia, sir.
Oh, you mean political asylum?
Yes.
But that doesn't explain why you hid out inside a dead whale.
If we ask for political asylum in England, it would be granted, but it would be easy for the Russian Secret Service to find us. They are most efficient and would track us down wherever we went. And so, Anushka and I hit upon a plan whereby we might vanish without trace.
You see, sir, the veil is to be shipped to America. They have a large supply of food and water, and it was our intention to stay hidden inside the veil until it reached the United States. We could come out at night when all was quiet and hide back inside during the day. Once in America, we know where we can find friends.
Well, what do you know? That's one up on Jonah. You mean you got all that trouble just to get to the States?
The Russian secret police do not take kindly to escapists.
We have families in Russia, sir.
Mm-hmm. You know, you don't have a bad plan at that. You disappear without trace in England. They check and find you haven't applied for political asylum. They check the airports and shipping lines and draw a blank. It only figures that something must have happened to you, like suicide. So they forget all about you.
And they forget about our family, sir.
Uh-huh. Tell me, Monsieur Duclair, does he know about this?
No one knows, except you.
Well, that's all right. Your secret's safe with me.
But are you not from the police?
No, I'm the watchman.
You are the watchman?
Yeah, fate, I guess. I was born under the zodiac sign of Pisces.
But the watchman in France was a much older man.
Yes, we know that he slept most of the night. We know that if we made no noise, we could safely creep out after dark.
Well, with me, you don't have to worry about noise. Noise? Say, what were you screaming about inside there anyway?
Oh.
Well, what is it?
In the darkness, we tripped over something.
Uh-huh.
I put on my torch, and there is the body of a man with a knife through his heart.
Cannon's jaw dropped so that he resembled in miniature the very object he was guarding. Whatever my employee's faults, he's not lacking in analytical intelligence. His colleagues would say as sharp as a whip. One look at the dejected and terrified faces of the two young folk dancers was enough to convince Cannon that they at least were on the level. His reaction was straightforward and immediate.
Anushka, you stay here. Mikhail, you're going back inside that whale.
Oh, well, if you insist.
I do insist, and what's more, I'm coming with you.
Mikhail.
It's all right, Anushka. I am not afraid.
Come on, let's go. Yeah. Now then, put on the flashlight. Now, where is it?
They're right there.
As you said, a knife through the heart. Do you know this man?
I think I have seen him somewhere. I cannot be sure.
Well, have a good look. The formaldehyde must have seeped into him. He's well preserved.
How long do you think he's been there?
How should I know? You only stumble on him by accident. The way he's preserved, he could have been there months. Okay, let's get out of this mausoleum. It gives me the creeps.
Are you just going to leave the body there?
Sure. In this country, in cases of murder, the body's left where it's found, untouched, so as not to hamper the work of the police.
Oh.
Here we go. You first.
What?
Okay, now me.
The body is there, as we saw it. Anushka hoped she might be dreaming. I can't say I feel much different, sir. This is the end for us.
No. Come on, cheer up. It might be the beginning.
When the police come, they will hold us as witnesses. Our defection will then be discovered. We will be taken back to Russia.
Yeah, that's the point, Mikhail. Corpse in the body of a whale, 2 Russian refugees. Hey, hang on, there's a phone here somewhere. Look, Mikhail, while I telephone, you go back inside there and remove all traces of your presence. Didn't you say that you brought food?
Yes.
Well, get it out. Make sure there's no traces of your having been in there. If there's the slightest clue to link you with the dead man, you'll wind up here the same as you would in Russia.
Cannon's call came through to my apartment and woke me from a deep sleep. At first I thought he'd lost his reason, and then that it was all a joke to get me out of bed and repay me for the task I'd handed him. But he finally convinced me that Mikhail and Anushka were real people, and that their plight was a tragic one. I gave him the only advice that seemed sensible at the time. The young Russian runaways would be safe for a while, at least, in Cannon's flat.
Okay, that's settled.
Did you telephone the police?
No, my chief. I'm taking you to my flat in Chelsea. You'll be safe there for a while. Did you get everything out, Mikhail?
Yes, everything, sir.
Now, let's see. 2:15. Chances of any vandals coming now are pretty remote. I've got a car at the back of the hall, and I can have you in my place in 20 minutes. I'll drop you and come back, and then I'll ring the police. Pick up your gear and follow me. Come on. Go right in.
Oh.
Oh, it's strictly a bachelor's apartment, ma'am, but you could give it the feminine touch.
We don't know how to say thank you.
Well, then don't try. Help yourselves to anything you want. I must get back to the whale.
The whale?
Well, don't tell me you forgot.
Anushka, the candle. I left the candle.
What are you talking about?
You told me to make sure nothing was left inside. I lit the candle so that I could see properly. I left it burning.
You left the candle burning inside? But the blubber, the formaldehyde, that fish is more inflammable than an oil refinery. Let me through, will you? Excuse me. Thanks.
No further, sir.
Huh?
The roof's going in any minute.
Well, it'll be gutted. The entire building will be gutted.
Yeah, it looks like it, sir.
Monsieur Cannon, I've looked everywhere for you, I thought you might still be inside.
Monsieur Declare, well, it looks like my first job as a night watchman got off to a bad start.
Oh, do not distress yourself. It was well in short, but how did it happen?
Well, that's quite a question. I'm not sure.
But where were you when it happened?
I was having a smoke.
Tell me just what you did, Monsieur Cannon.
Well, I pumped in the formaldehyde like you showed me, and then I sat down on the bench to have a smoke. Suddenly, the whale started to smoke, too. You know what I mean?
Yes, a stroke of luck.
Luck?
The whale is in short, as I said. I do not regret losing it.
But it's burned down the entire hall. The place is a raging inferno. There'll be nothing left.
No, nothing left. Absolutely nothing.
And, that's about everything, Chief.
Now, what makes you so suspicious of Monsieur Duclair?
I don't know. It's maybe the way he looked at that fire. He was enjoying it. Seemed like he was hoping the thing would be destroyed.
Oh, it might just have been the excitement. The entire building was razed to the ground. There's nothing but a heap of ashes.
Well, don't you see? That body inside the whale was reduced to a heap of ashes, too. Whoever that guy was, he wound up in his own crematorium.
Yes, I checked on the Russian dancers. They're officially listed as missing. Mark you, that doesn't mean they weren't responsible for the killing. We've no idea who that man might have been, and now it seems we'll never know. Just supposing he was an official of the Russian secret police.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm going to cry about that.
Oh, that's not the point. This is England. Well, no one has the right to take another man's life.
Okay, Chief, thanks for the moral lecture.
I'm serious. If those two youngsters did kill a man from the Russian police, then they must be handed over to the authorities.
Well, you're right, of course, as always. But how are we going to prove who he was? How can we even prove that there was a man in there in the first place? There's nothing left, not a single solitary thing.
Yes?
Monsieur Duclair to see you, sir.
I'll send him in, please.
No. What do you suppose he wants?
Well, he won't have come to congratulate us on our efficiency as night watchman.
Bonjour, Monsieur Mason. Monsieur Cannon?
Monsieur Declare?
Most regrettable about the exhibit,
Yes. Won't you take a chair?
Thank you. I explained to Monsieur Cannon that financially there is nothing to worry about. The exhibit was well insured, and I shall suffer no financial loss.
I'm glad to hear that.
But I shall require your assistance.
You going to pump up another whale?
Oh, no. It concerns the insurance. At the time of the accident, I was in bed in my hotel. In fact, the hall porter woke me and told me of the disaster. Monsieur Cannon was in charge of the exhibit at the time, and I would like a statement from him accepting full responsibility.
Now, just a minute. You may be insured, but we're not. If you read your contract, you'll find the indemnity clause in case of accident.
Oh, it is not that, monsieur. I require a letter only to show that the exhibit was destroyed by accident. To please the insurance company, you understand, huh?
Yes, I do.
Of course, I would pay for the service.
When do you want the letter, Monsieur Duclair?
I would like to get it off to France as soon as possible. It will save me the journey over there. If the insurance company is satisfied, they will pay out to their London office.
I'll get onto it right away, monsieur. This afternoon?
Perfect. Thank you. Well, good day, gentlemen.
Goodbye, Mr.
Bye,
Clare.
Monsieur Clare. You know, Chief, something about that whale smells awful fishy.
Perhaps. But I wonder why he doesn't just hop over the channel and collect the insurance money.
Maybe he doesn't want to show his face in France.
Show his face? Cannon, I wonder.
Chief, I don't like that look.
Are the Russian runaways still in your flat?
Where else?
You're sure no one's seen them?
Certain. I can't stall a cleaner forever, but he's been stalled before. For a different reason, naturally.
I can guess what it is. I want to have a talk to them. They were as Cannon described them, just two nice kids. However desperate their plight, I just couldn't imagine them plunging a knife into a man's heart, and the setting for the murder was too macabre for them to contemplate. I asked them about the exhibit they'd seen in France. How did you find out about the entrance into the whale?
By watching the caretaker. He was an old man and rather surly. The whale was on show in the Place de la Poste, and we hid behind one of the pillars. We saw him climb in through the mouth. When we heard that the whale was to come to London, and then to go to America, we hit upon our plan.
Did you meet Monsieur Duclair? He's the owner.
I don't think so. It was the caretaker we watched.
You said to Cannon that you might have seen the dead man somewhere before.
I think so, but I cannot be certain.
Well, there's no chance now for a second look. If you saw the caretaker again, would you recognize him?
Oh, yes. Anushka, too.
I would know him anywhere.
I'll just use your phone, Cannon. What hotel is Duclair in?
Regent Palace.
Good morning. Oh, I'd like to speak to Monsieur Duclair, please. Thank you. I'm going to invite him to the office early. I want Mikhail and Anushka hidden in the inner office where they can see him. Hello? Oh, Monsieur Duclair. Oh, this is Mason, Assignments Unlimited. Yes, I've nearly finished it. Tell me, for how long was the whale insured? Yes, it couldn't have lasted forever, could it? I see. Right after the American exhibition, you would destroy it? Well, may I ask how? Yes, of course. Well, what better grave for a whale than to be dumped into the sea? Can we make it 1 o'clock? Thank you, that's fine. Goodbye. There's no doubt about it now. Cannon in that outer office for these youngsters, I want 2 more people. Detective inspectors from the murder squad. The stage was set for Monsieur Duclair's arrival. The police officers were fully briefed, and Mikhail and Anushka waited apprehensively. When Duclair arrived, they recognized him immediately, not as Duclair, but as the old caretaker. Publicity photographs of the real Duclair were immediately seen to be those of the dead man and the whale. Cannon, for once, was impressed.
Well, not bad, Chief, not bad at all. But, what made him do it?
Jealousy, probably. Like you, he didn't fancy having a whale as a bed companion, while his employer lived off the fat of the land.
The fat of the whale.
Oh, all right. He murdered his boss and left his body inside the exhibit. Later, all evidence would have been removed when the whale was dumped in the Atlantic. Cunning. But he couldn't take a chance on going back to France. He might have been recognized by someone in the insurance company. So he had to stay undercover.
Undercover? That reminds me, 2 Russian dancers have to be smuggled into the States somehow.
Funny you should mention that. I was just about to brief you on your next assignment.
Oh, no.
Well, there you are. That's how the fishmonger had his chips.
That's right, but I work in good old London town. My last assignment took me to the States.
Really? May I ask what sort of work you do, Mr. Cannon?
Well, that's the $64 question. The company's name is Assignments Unlimited, and my boss lives up to it like a battle honor. Come up and see me sometime at 33 Half Moon Street.
Aubrey Mason at your service. At Assignments Unlimited, we do anything, anywhere, at any time.
33 Half Moon Street.
I have a file in front of me. On the front cover is boldly typed, "A kitten for Mr. Katz." To say that Mr. Benjamin Katz paid us a visit at 33 Half Moon Street would not be strictly accurate. He descended on our peace and quiet in this backwater like a clap of thunder. Mr. Katz was a man of few words, but he had a lot to say. It's part of the routine at Assignments Unlimited that I lend a patient and attentive ear.
I'm in the theatrical profession, Mr. Mason, casting mainly. Got quite a few things on the go at the moment. Theater's having a boom, vaudeville's on the way back, television, radio, motion pictures, films, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, well, it keeps me on the go all the time. Never have a chance to sit still for a moment. I'm here today, and tomorrow I'll be in the Midlands. After that, over to Italy to shoot a scene of a girl on the beach bouncing a ball. That's for a TV commercial. Why they have to go all the way to Italy just to get a girl bouncing a ball on a beach beats me.
It must be very trying.
Oh, but I'll never let it get me down. Get in there and fight, I say. If you don't get the job done, your competitors will get there ahead of you. Romantic game show business. That's what you think. Cutthroat, Mr. Mason. That's the word to really describe it. A knife in the back.
What is it exactly that you wish us to do?
Oh, what's that? Oh, yeah, well, a little job. They told me you handle anything. Is that right?
That's right.
Well, great. Here's my card. Send the account there, and it'll be settled right away. Well, I must get going. You've got to be in the Midlands first thing tomorrow.
Mr. Katz.
Uh-huh.
Is it film stunting or something like that?
Film stuff? Oh, the job, yeah. Well, I didn't say, did I?
No.
Well, I got a little female kitten arriving on the boat train lunchtime tomorrow. She's got someone on the train looking after her, and he'll hand the kitten over to your man in the platform buffet if he's there at lunchtime. Now, just look after her until I get back from the Midlands day after tomorrow. Well, now, I really must run. Been a pleasure meeting you, Mr. Mason. Do you ever go to the theater?
Often.
Well, I'll send you tickets for my next review. Goodbye.
Good afternoon, Mr. Katz.
You okay, Chief?
Cannon. How nice to see you. Come in.
You having trouble with that guy?
No, just a client. He's a little exuberant.
Well, he must have spent his prenatal days on a machine gun fire.
How was the trip to Washington?
Oh, went off without a hitch. Do I get a furlough?
Surely 5 days on the Queen Elizabeth was enough?
Yeah, that's what I thought you'd say, so I'm reporting for duty.
As it happens, I have a small thing here for tomorrow.
The, Mr. Katz, the man who just left?
How did you know his name?
I looked in the appointments book.
He's got a kitten arriving on the boat train at King's Cross tomorrow. We have to look after it until he gets back from the Midlands.
So you want me to go to King's Cross with a quart of milk?
Or something like that. The kitten's in charge of a man on the train. He'll hand over to you in the platform buffet at lunchtime.
Well, how'll I know this guy?
Oh, there shouldn't be any difficulty, Cannon. How many people on King's Cross Station will have kittens for company?
Well, that's a good question. And what do I do with the kitten when I've collected it?
You're in charge until Mr. Katz gets back. We'll take it to your flat if you like. Anything so long as you don't lose it.
Uh-huh. Hey, what do I feed this kitten on?
Oh, I don't know. Cream, I suppose. I've never kept cats. Well, what's the joke?
I was just thinking, you've never kept cats, and now you're working for one.
Late the following morning, Cannon, after a short consultation with a pet shop in Charing Cross, left for his assignation with the kitten. At lunchtime, he was sipping an old and mild in the platform buffet when the boat train pulled into the station. He carefully scanned the passengers for some sign of a man and a kitten.
Pardon, monsieur. Are you the gentleman who was sent to meet me?
Wow. I wish I was.
But Monsieur Katz said there would be a gentleman to meet me in the platform buffet, and you are the only gentleman to serve. By yourself.
Uh-huh. Did you say Mr. Katz?
Well, monsieur, he is my agent.
But, Mr. Katz said I was to meet a kitten.
That is what they call me in France, monsieur. My name is Marie Lavour.
Oh, Marie Lavour, so you're the kitten I had to meet, huh?
Is the idea distasteful to you, monsieur?
Distasteful? For once, I've got me an assignment that's the cat's whiskers.
Yes, Cannon's job was to act as chaperone to a sex kitten. I just hadn't understood the theatrical parlance of my flamboyant client. A lesser man might have been a little nonplussed by this turn of events, but Cannon was not in the least bit disturbed.
You see, Marie, the chief got the whole thing wrong. He sent me on the trail of a feline. Well, come think of it, he wasn't all that far out after all.
Well, I'm in your hands, monsieur. Where shall we go?
Well, that's a question, Marie, that causes a conflict in my mind. Should I follow the line of duty or countermand my chief's orders and change them to suit the situation?
I don't quite follow you.
Well, my orders were to feed you on cream and keep you in my flat.
Then you had to change your orders, monsieur.
Yeah, I was afraid you'd say that.
I never eat cream. It's bad for my figure.
Yeah, this job gets better by the minute. Hey, do cats eat curry?
Delicious.
Then we'll eat curried chicken at Veeraswamy's, and then, let's go chew on a chicken first, huh?
Over the curry, Cannon warmed to his task. The change in diet for his charge had been drastic, but Cannon looked for all the world like a cat at a bowl of cream. This didn't prevent him putting some pertinent questions to the lovely Miss Lavour.
Oh, by the way, Marie, what happened to your luggage?
I have just an overnight bag, this one.
Do you usually travel so light?
Monsieur Katz telephoned just 1 hour before the ferry left. He said I was to drop everything and come. That's not uncommon in show business, you know. He said he would provide everything for me at this end.
Well, I guess he'll do that when he gets back tomorrow. Where does he live, this guy, Katz?
His home, you mean? Oh, I have no idea. I wish I did. Then I would go there.
Well, if he wanted you to do that, he would have said so. Well, maybe Mrs. Katz is in residence, and if she got a look at you, she might get Papa to change his vocation.
Oh, but it will still be a difficult 24 hours for me.
Now, how come?
I'm hoping for my big break in England. Mr. Katz says there is a good chance that I will get a part in a new film there to shoot at Elstree. You know this place?
Sure, half an hour from here in Boreham Wood, but why is it so difficult?
In the cinema world, one must be seen only in the best places with the right people.
Oh, you should have said I'd have taken you to tea at Buckingham Palace.
Oh, please, do not misunderstand me. It's just because I haven't my luggage with me. I haven't even a change of clothes. If I book into a small out-of-the-way hotel and someone sees me, then it will start bad gossip for me. A cinema star must live only in the best places. Yet, alas, I cannot book into a good hotel because they will ask why I have no luggage.
And the film star is never far from her pantechnicon. Yeah, I always wondered why film stars were a bit screwy. I'm learning. But you know, you don't have to worry, Marie. You can stay the night in my flat. How's that?
You're very kind, Monsieur Cannon, but that would not be proper now, would it?
Well, it would if I bedded down the flop house around the corner.
You would really give up your flat for one night for me?
Mademoiselle, I'm a regular Galahad, but there's a condition.
Oh?
After you've met up with Katz and gotten organized on this movie, I take you out to dinner. And we'll do it on your conditions. The right people, that's me, and the right place. Beer and sausages and dirty dicks.
I shall look forward to our date with anticipation and pleasure, monsieur.
And I'll twist old Katz's arm to make sure you become a movie star right soon.
Do you think I'll be successful?
Baby, you'll be the cat's meow. Waiter, clear away the litter, huh?
It wasn't until after his lunch at Veeraswamy's that Cannon reported in. At that time, I had no idea that Mr. Katz's kitten was a lovely girl from France. Cannon, of course, was quick to inform me.
So you see, Chief, you got it all wrong. His kitten's a real dish, and our client, Mr. Katz, needs his head read for treating her this way.
I don't follow, Cannon. Are you suggesting that he's treated her badly?
Landing a potential movie star in London with no gear? You just don't know the business, Chief.
But I do know that you all know Rudolph Valentino.
Valentino? He went out with Prohibition.
Well, I must confess I don't attend the cinema very frequently. However, where is Miss Lavour?
In my apartment.
What?
Yeah, now don't panic. Those were your orders, and I've booked into the hotel around the corner for the night.
Well, Cannon, Assignments Unlimited.
Oh, is that you, Mr. Mason?
Speaking.
Katz here.
Oh, good afternoon. How are things in the Midlands?
Oh, they're fine, just fine. Did you meet the kitten?
Yes. One of my men met her and is looking after her.
Oh, good. Now, it occurred to me that she won't know where to come to tomorrow. I wondered if your man would bring her out to the Four Swans in Waltham Cross.
The Four Swans at Waltham Cross? Yes, certainly. At what time, Mr. Katz?
Oh, 6 in the evening?
I'll see to it.
Oh, good man. Now, don't worry about the expenses. I'll see to everything. Goodbye, Mr. Mason.
Good day, Mr. Katz.
Chief, you got that look again.
Miss Baines is off the switchboard. She popped out for a minute and put the line through to this office. Katz rang straight through to me.
So?
I asked him how things were in the Midlands, and he said fine. But he can't be in the Midlands because he dialed direct. You heard that wasn't a trunk call. Mr. Katz is right here in London. That's odd, Cannon. I wonder why he told me a deliberate lie. If Mr. Katz was in London, then why did he wish an escort for Miss Lavour? And if she knew that he was in London, then she'd made an awful fool of Cannon. For all his ponderous bulk, Cannon is agile of mind and body. To coin a Cannon phrase, he'd gotten the message.
Mm-hmm. Let me have the phone, Chief. Cool.
Who are you ringing?
My flat.
Oh, careful what you say.
That's all right, Chief. I just swallowed a jar of honey. Hello?
Hello. Who is speaking, please?
It's me, Cannon. Everything all right?
Oh, I was in the bar.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's all right. It's nice to hear your voice.
Just thought I'd ring to check that you're okay.
Oh, you're very kind, Monsieur Cannon.
Now, you get back to that bath before you drip all over my Persian carpet.
Is it Persian?
Well, the guy Marks and Spencer's bargain basement said it was.
What time will you be home?
Oh, about an hour or so. Oh, by the way, Mr. Katz rang.
Oh, he's back in town?
No, he's still up north. He wanted to know if you were okay.
And I am, thanks to you.
Well, that's what I told him. Now, look, if I'm late, you can play solitaire. There's a deck of cards in the bureau.
I'll cook you some dinner. How's that?
Great. Be seeing you, kitten.
Au revoir, Monsieur Cannon.
Well?
Well, I don't know. She's an actress. Could mean a lot or nothing. Hey, Chief, where does this guy Katz hang out?
Oh, here's his card.
Mm-hmm.
See anything odd about it?
Well, no phone number, just the address.
And for a theatrical agent, that's decidedly odd. I didn't bother to look at it closely before. I simply shoved it in the drawer of the desk.
17A Warder Street. Well, do I take the tube or a taxi?
Oh, I think this warrants a taxi. But don't forget he's never met you and he doesn't know that you were assigned to the job of meeting Miss Lavour.
Unless she rang and told him.
Well, there's no telephone.
Check. Okay, I'll be 30 minutes. And if I find what I think I'll find, Mr. Katz the fur's gonna fly. Oh, 4 flights. Good. Martin Webster Publishing Company, Ann's Theatrical Hire, Chamois Window Cleaning Company, the Coal Black Bridge Club. No Mr. Katz. Well, I guess here's as good as any.
Ah, Major Farnham, we were expecting you.
No, just a minute. You got me wrong. My name's Cannon. I just want a little information.
Are you from the police?
No, I'm looking for an old friend of mine, name of Katz. I was told he ran a theatrical agency in this building.
Katz? Katz? You're American, aren't you?
Yeah. Katz?
Yes, Katz. No, there's no one here by that name.
You know everybody here?
Quite so. Well, there's Ann's Theatrical Hire, of course. It's run by a girl called Sally Manger. Not Ann at all. Sally Manger's always eating, so they call her Salamanger. It's terribly amusing, don't you think?
And no cats?
No cats.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
No cats.
Not even on the rooftops. Chief, we've been taken.
It looks like it.
So what do we do?
Technically, we have a case for fraud, of course.
You mean the cops?
We'd be entitled to lay our predicament before the law. It's obvious that Katz never intended to pay for our services rendered. I'm not sure that I'd welcome the publicity, though. And then there's the girl.
Yeah, the girl. What about her?
From your telephone conversation, she's probably toasting you a tasty frog's leg over your gas ring.
You know, Chief, sometimes I wonder why I work for you.
I suppose the money has something to do with it. Now, our client has asked us to deliver the lady to the Four Swans Hotel at Waltham Cross. This we will do. It may well be that he wished to keep his real address a secret for some quite logical reason. If that's so, then he'll pay up when you deliver the goods.
Chief, I got a funny feeling.
Yes, so have I. But we'll play along straight at our end. Go back to your flat and act as if nothing's happened.
Okay.
Don't let the girl know where her assignation with Katz is to be. It's just as well not to take chances. Tomorrow evening at 6, you can take her to the Four Swans and clean everything up.
I know who I'll clean up first if I don't get the dough.
There is this to it, Cannon. It might be dangerous. You never know.
No, I'll take a chance on that. Now, what's this guy Katz like anyway?
Oh, you won't have to worry about him. He's late middle-aged and out of condition.
Why won't you tell me where we're going?
Did I say I wouldn't tell you?
All day when I ask you, you've been evasive.
Well, the fact is, Mr. Katz said to take you to the Four Swans Hotel in Waltham Cross. I couldn't ring him back to check because he was out of town. Now, you see, the Four Swans is really in Eleanor Cross. The two places are a stone's throw away, but, well, I thought I'd make sure first.
Is this the way to the cinema studio?
No, it's the way to the north, the Great North Road. It leads to the Midlands. You know, where Mr. Katz has been all this time? Well, this is it. I'll just turn the corner and park. There it is, Four Swans Hotel. Now, that statue was erected to the memory of Queen Eleanor by King Edward.
You are a student of English history, Monsieur Canon?
No, I looked it up in the guidebook. Okay, in we go. Well, see anybody you know?
Maria, I'm so glad to see you. My most humble apologies for not being at the station to meet you.
I was well looked after, Monsieur Katz, by this gentleman.
Oh, you must be from Assignments Unlimited.
That's right. Cannon's the name. You're Mr. Katz.
Oh, yes, I am. You've done me a great service.
It's a pleasure. We do anything for money.
Oh, yes, your fee. Now, are you empowered to accept it?
That's right.
Well, excellent. Now, if you'll just settle down here, order yourself a drink while I show Miss LaVour to her room, I'll come right down and fix up about your fee. All right?
Okay.
Well, this way then, Marie.
Thank you for everything, Monsieur Cannon. And I shall not forget our date. You know how to keep in touch?
Don't ring you. You ring us. Huh?
I will. Au revoir, Monsieur Cannon.
Be seeing you, Kitten.
Well, Marie, now, did you have a good trip? I was in the wit's end.
Hey, waiter.
Yes, sir?
Where does the door at the back of the hotel lead to?
Oh, it's the car park, sir.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to know. Here.
Cool. Blimey. £1.
Why didn't you come alone? That man might have caused some embarrassment.
I couldn't get him to tell me where you'd arranged the meeting.
He looks an ugly customer.
He's quite harmless. Very sweet.
Did you ask him where we were to meet?
Of course. He didn't tell me because you said Waltham Cross instead of Eleanor Cross. They have a reputation, his company. He did not want to make a mistake.
Well, he's made one now, the poor boob. I wonder how long he'll sit in that lounge waiting for me to come back.
It might have been wise to pay him.
Well, the less he sees of me, the better. I know these chaps. They've noses like Pinocchio and ask a lot of awkward questions. What's the matter?
A car behind us is about to pass. It's the same car that brought me. It's Cannon. Cannon is behind the wheel. It's forcing you off the road. Stop! Stop forever!
Oh, get over, you fool! Get over!
Oh, pull into the side, please,
Now,
please!
go to the devil!
You'll crash! You'll crash!
Okay? You two babies get out.
Well, I hurt my arm.
Pity you didn't break your neck. You too, Miss Lavoie, or whatever your name is. I'm in a pretty nasty mood.
You tried to kill us.
He could have stopped. Okay, hand over that traveling bag.
No.
Miss Lavoie, I'm not in the habit of pushing women around, but if you don't give it to me, I'm going to take it.
Well, no, it's all a mistake. I'll pay you. I forgot in the hotel. There was so much on my mind, but, well, you can always come to the office to collect your money.
I already tried that. And if you've got what I think you've got, your next office will be a cell in Dartmoor. Now, give me that. A metal cylinder. Sealed, too. Well, I guess we only need a little hole. That jagged fender on your car will be just the thing. Well. Talcum powder, Miss Lavoie?
I'll pay you well.
I'll bet you would. There's enough cocaine in this cylinder to keep you on Easy Street for years. You know, you got the wrong name, Buster. They should have called you Rat.
Can be no doubt that Katz had spoiled his ship for a ha'porth of tar. If he'd paid Cannon in the Four Swans Hotel, we'd have left it at that and put down the false visiting card to eccentricity. As it turned out, it was a profitless task, and I lost Cannon for 4 days at the trial. The narcotics people were onto Mr. Katz, and that day at King's Cross they mingled with the crowd watching for him. He knew this, and realized that the moment Marie Lavoie made contact with him, they'd both be arrested with disastrous consequences. It was a good plan to have someone from Assignments Unlimited meet the lady. She'd be quite safe until Katz could arrange a quiet rendezvous. Her cover story was sound and, well, indeed took us both in. It was that telephone call that really upset Katz's plans.
Boy.
Honey, you sound so tired.
I know, I'm tired, but I just can't get any sleep.
You need to try Qualia Night by Neurohacker Collective. We're an affiliate of theirs, and their links are in our description below.
What's that?
Qualia Night. Click on the link below, and you'll be getting to sleep in no time.
Thanks, honey. I'll give it a try right now.
Brought to you by Hearth and Home Entertainment.
Well, you gotta admit the boy's game.
He won't last around that. This Jamaican boy's as hard as nails. Punch like the kick of a mule. There, what I tell you. The referee stopped the fight. Well, it was fair.
Crazy crowd, the English. Always shout for the underdogs. But I bet it'll be different next week for the Empire title bout.
If there is an Empire title.
What do you mean by that?
Staff troubles. There's an LCC ruling at Earl's Courtland. The whole area must be cleaned up right after the meeting. I don't know how we manage tonight, let alone next week.
You short of staff, Mr. Moore?
Who's desperate?
Then I'm the answer to a maiden's prayer. Ring up Grosvenor 5995. That's the phone number of Assignments Unlimited at 33 Half Moon Street.
Aubrey Mason at your service. At Assignments Unlimited, we do anything, anywhere, at any time.
33 Half Moon Street.
Cannon is really a quiet sort of chap with a plebeian taste for football, boxing, and Wild West pictures. He's rugged, of course, which is just as well, because Cannon has an unfortunate habit of attracting trouble. It's never intentional. He explains it by saying he has a mesmeric metabolism that attracts the seamy side of life. Certainly Mr. Moore gave no indication of what was to come when I interviewed him on the Earl's Court job. Cleaners after the big fight next week, Mr. Moore. Well, I'm not sure that we can supply the number of workers you'd need for that.
Oh, it's not the actual sweepers, Mr. Mason. We can get them from the Labour Exchange. You see, they're mostly West Indians and work well enough if properly supervised. Mr. Cannon told me that you might be able to supply 2 or 3 men to act in a supervisory capacity with the work.
Oh, yes, that we can do easily. I'll put 2 of my most reliable men on the job.
Will one of them be Mr. Cannon?
Oh, without doubt. He'll be delighted at the opportunity of watching the big fight free of charge.
May I send you a couple of complimentary tickets, Mr. Mason?
For Friday night? Oh, it's kind of you, Mr. Moore, but, well, I must decline, unfortunately.
Oh, not interested in professional boxing?
Oh, it's not that, actually. It just so happens that this Friday night, my club's having its own championship match. I'm an active participant.
You're a boxer?
No, Mr. Moore, not nearly so romantic. Ours is a chess championship.
Check.
Well, I think you'll find the men I send to be reliable, Mr. Moore, and I wish you a successful Friday evening.
As your Mr. Cannon would say, this Empire title fight will be a knockout.
Hi. Any objections if I park in the booth here for the fight?
Well, that depends. Are you an American?
New York. You?
Milwaukee. Well, regulations state only members of the staff are allowed in here.
Well, then I guess it's okay. Cannon's the name, boss of the cleaning team.
Come right on in, Cannon. I'm Lazenby Ben, National Broadcasting Corporation.
Well, what do you know? You making the fight commentary?
That's right. The New York Board of Control recognizes this Empire fight as a world eliminator, hence the broadcast to the States. Now, if you sit quietly in the corner, nobody's going to say a word. But I said quietly and no bad words.
Oh, my old mammy sent me to Sunday school every week.
Stand by, Mr. Ben. You're hooked up in 10 seconds from now.
Here we go. Give me full sound in number 4 booth. Good afternoon to all listeners on the NBC hookup. This is Lazenby Ben reporting from the Earl's Court Stadium in London, England, where the time is 9:30 p.m. And the contenders for the British Empire Cruiserweight title are limbering up in their respective corners, awaiting the gong for the first round that'll set them in combat and decide who will have a tilt of the World Cruiserweight crown in Toledo in December. Both fighters are in good shape for the contest, and there's not a pound difference in weight between them. The champion, Ned Riley, with his scarlet shorts emblazoned with the green shamrock of Ireland, and the challenger, Sammy Bart, bedecked in a more somber black. The colors are symbolic. It'll be a red-letter day for the winner and a Black Friday for the loser. I expect a good fight since both boys have everything to gain by a win here in London, England. Some of you keen followers of the fight game will remember 3 years back when Nigel Bart, twin brother of Sammy, who's in the ring now, fought in the States. A larceny charge ended Nigel's career, but his twin brother has stepped right into his shoes to challenge the champion tonight. And there goes the bell for the first round. They meet in the center of the ring, both fighters summing each other up. Riley has a 3-day crop of whiskers on his chin, a snarl on his face. Bart's cool, imperturbable, and large, rosy tin ear, the hallmark of his profession, on an otherwise unmarked face. Riley leads with the left. Bart brushes it aside, sidesteps neatly. As he turns, that great cauliflower ear stands up like the plumed helm of Navarre. And suddenly the tempo's changed. Bart comes storming in like a pressure light. A left, another left, and a mighty chopping right that's got Riley reeling, and the crowd's going berserk. Oh, this is a Sammy Bart we've never seen before. He comes in again and slams home that left and a right and another left and a right that chops down Riley like a meat axe. He's down, Riley's down. Rest on him. 3, 4... Oh, he's up at 4, but boy, his face looks like he's dived head first into a cement mixer. And Riley's down again, and he's down again. Oh, the crowd's going wild. The atmosphere is something he could cut jigsaw puzzles out of it. 4, 5, The champion's game, he wants to get up, but the ref's insisting on the compulsory count of 8 after a second knockdown. And he's up, swaying on his feet as the challenger comes storming in, and it's a left and a left, and over comes that right to chop down the champ. He's down, Riley's down, and he'll put it up this time. 60 seconds by my count, and I'll lead the world champion of the British Empire. Taylor Temple, the world champion, was here to watch this fight tonight, and it's not going to be a buggy ride when he meets Sammy Bart in December. Sammy Bart, the new cruiserweight champion.
Check. Your rook, Sir Thomas. I think you've got me, Mason. Check and mate. Thank you, Sir Thomas. I don't know how you do it, Mason. You're a fighter, all right. Oh, it's the bulldog spirit, sir.
Excuse me, sir. Is the game concluded?
Yes, Crawley. Another chess championship out of the way until next year.
May I inquire who won, Sir Thomas?
You may indeed, Crawley. Mr. Mason, undefeatable. The most rugged fighter in the kingdom.
Then you will be able to answer the telephone, Mr. Mason.
Telephone? What at this hour? Who is it?
American intonation in the voice, Mr. Mason.
Oh, I know who it is, Crawley.
Shall I plug in the extension, Mr. Mason?
If you will. Well, I think this calls for a celebration. A bottle of port. Any dissenters? Capital. Well, let's leave Mason to his telephone conversation and appoint Crawley potman. Thank you. Hello? Oh, is that you, Cannon?
Hello to you all. This is hot news straight from the cannon's mouth.
Cannon, are you drunk?
No, I'm quite sober, Chief. I have watched a big fight from a broadcasting booth and seen the great Leslie Ben in action.
Oh, good show. Did he win? I mean, this Leslie Ben?
No. Leslie Ben was the commentator. The protagonists were Ned Riley and Sammy Bart. Bart won and our job's completed.
Already? But I thought you wouldn't be through until 1 in the morning.
Well, the fight lasted 1 minute. 60 seconds. What a challenge and what a champion.
Cannon, look. If ever we get a job calling for a boxing commentator, our seat's passed on to you. But right now we have a little celebration going on in the club, so if you don't mind...
Say, that's right. I forgot. You were playing in the chess championship tonight. How did it go, Chief?
Extremely well, thank you, Cannon.
No, what I mean is who won?
Well, I did, actually. Now, I must say goodnight.
No, hang on, Chief. Look, I gotta see you tonight.
Trouble?
Maybe.
Well, what is it?
Well, one of the Jamaican cleaners found a small parcel wrapped in brown paper under the ring in Sammy Bart's corner. It's addressed to Bart.
Well, then why don't you give it to him?
There's a stain in one corner where something has seeped through.
Yes?
You guessed it, Chief. It's blood.
All right, Cannon, dump it on the table. You say you found it under the ring by this Sammy Bart's corner.
Well, strictly speaking, Chief, one of the Jamaican cleaners found it.
And he handed it to you?
That's right.
Are they reliable, these Jamaicans?
Well, if you mean honest, yes. As anybody's honest who works as janitor. They're superstitious, too. This guy, Bart, wasn't expected to win. And yet he sailed through the champion like a maniac with a poleaxe. So I told the Jamaican it was probably voodoo.
Well, what on earth did you do that for?
Mr. Moore promised me a personal bonus if I got the place clean before midnight. When they heard about the voodoo, they had that joint as clean as a widow's parlor in half an hour flat.
Cannon, you're incorrigible.
And not only that, I got bad habits. Well, what do we do, Chief? Open or deliver?
Well, it might simply be meat.
A pound of steak in case you got a black eye?
I wonder what he was doing under the ring like that.
Well, if I could offer my professional advice as a garbage expert, that entire arena was knee-deep in empty popcorn packets, torn-up tickets, newspapers for the fish and chips. And the whole place, only one small square was free of garbage, under the ring. So, when the scaffold company took the ring away, it was impossible to miss seeing the package.
That rather looks as though it was put there purposely.
Well, you've got to be very short-sighted to mistake a boxing ring for a mailbox.
Well, it's carefully wrapped and neatly typed. You know, it's our duty to hand this straight over to Mr. Moore.
Well, supposing I opened it very carefully, so as I could wrap it up again very carefully.
Well, that might be dangerous.
No, it can't be a time bomb. Gunpowder's black.
Oh, all right. But if it turns out to be a pound of liver, I'll have your blood.
Okay, here we go. Wow. Maybe it was voodoo after all.
Cannon, that's an ear. A human ear.
Cannon just sat and stared at it, his hand gently stroking his own generous lobe. And then it occurred to me that this was a very large ear, severed sharply but crudely from its owner's head. What could it mean? I glanced inquiringly at Cannon.
Well, that's new. Maybe a day old.
Yes, I was thinking the same thing. Well, who can he belong to?
Well, search me. Maybe we got a modern Van Gogh running loose in London.
Van Gogh was an artist. Anyway, he cut off his ear to send to his lady love.
Well, it could be in reverse. A lot of these dames go dizzy over prize fighters.
A girl's ear? Look at the size of it.
Well, somebody's ears were burning last night for sure.
Another facetious remark like that from you, and I'll put a flea in your ear.
Okay, Chief, okay.
Now, look, my mind's made up. In the morning, I'm going to ring Mr. Moore and tell him exactly what's happened. Then it's up to him to take any action he thinks necessary.
Okay, that's the end of the cleaning contract.
What do you mean?
Well, Mr. Moore is so pleased with the job we did tonight, he's coming round here in the morning to offer us a regular contract at his big fight promotions.
So?
And one of the rules is that all lost property is deposited with the man in the box office. That's why he wants supervisors. Once he knows that we remove this parcel from the arena and open it, you get what I mean, Chief?
I don't like it, Cannon. The police should be informed.
Well, there's no law against cutting off your ear. I mean, legally it's like cutting toenails. So, some nut cuts off his ear and sent it to the challenger, Sammy Bart. It's a man's ear, and a big one at that. How do we know why he did it?
Oh, all right, but, well, what do we do with it? I say we're morally obliged to take it round to the police station, even if we do lose the cleaner's contract.
No sense in cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Cannon.
Sorry, Chief. Now, look, let me wrap it up again and take it round to Sammy Bart first thing.
Oh, all right, you win. But I don't like it. I don't like it at all, Cannon. What on earth will Mr. Bart say when he opens it?
Sammy Bart is the Empire champion, and he comes from London, so he'll probably say...
Yes?
What's this here?
The heavy leather-bound volume of Homer's Iliad that I hurled at Cannon crashed into a closed door. In a way, I was glad that he brought the grisly parcel back to the office. I know very little about prize fighters, but I reasoned that Mr. Bart, having won his contest, would be feeling a little like myself. I must confess to a certain exhilaration at being the club chess champion, and the fighter must have felt the same. That parcel, if delivered on the night of his victory, would most certainly have ruined his great moment. But in one thing, Cannon was wrong. Sammy Bart might be a prize fighter from London, but his speech was impeccable.
You come in, Mr. Cannon. I must apologize for the untidiness of my hotel suite. I slept late this morning.
Understandably, champ. I watched the fight last night. You were great.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm a fan, you know. Never missed the big ones. Sat right up there with Leslie Benn, the commentator.
The American?
Yeah. They broadcast the fight to the States. Didn't you know?
Oh, yes, of course.
Well, he's tops in the States, you know. You ever been to America?
No. No, I've never been to America. They said at the desk that you had a parcel to deliver to me personally.
Oh, yes, right. I've got it here.
Who gave it, you may ask?
Nobody. You see, I was in charge of the cleaners at the stadium, and one of the workers found this under the ring by your corner. It's addressed to you, so I thought I'd bring it round personally.
Well, that was very kind of you. If you wait a minute, I'll see that you're suitably rewarded.
No, that's okay. It's just part of my job. Well, I've got to get back, so if you'll excuse me...
I wouldn't hear of it. Sit down, Mr. Cannon.
Well, you see,
Sit down.
Okay.
Sammy.
Nothing wrong, I hope, Mr. Bart.
Weber?
Yes, Governor.
Lock the door.
Yes, Governor.
Look, I got to...
Sit down, Mr. Cannon. Where did you get this parcel?
Well, it's like I told you.
For the last time, where did you get this parcel?
Hey, now, look, if you're trying to get tough...
Yes, Mr. Cannon.
Yeah, I should get tangled up with the future world champion. Okay, I'll come clean.
Better. A drink?
Yeah, scotch on the rocks.
Weber?
Yes, Governor.
All right, Mr. Cannon. You were about to come clean.
Well, you see, I work for an organization called Assignments Unlimited. You can check the numbers in the directory, Grosvenor 5995. I found the parcel just like I said, but I noticed there was blood that had seeped out.
Scotch on the rocks.
Oh, thanks. So I took it back to the office and opened it up to have a look. Well, the boss and me, well, we decided the best thing to do was to deliver it here this morning.
What else could you have done with it?
Well, the chief wanted me to deliver it to the police.
Have you any idea where this might have come from?
Well, I figured it was some kind of nuts.
All right, Weber. Now, Mr. Cannon, having delivered your strange parcel, what do you expect me to do with it?
Take it to the cops, I guess.
Yes, that would be the logical thing. Or throw it away. Forget the whole incident.
Yeah, that's what I do. No sense in keeping it.
Forget all about it. That'd be hard for you, Mr. Cannon. I imagine your experience would make a good talking point in the pub.
That I found an ear in a box and delivered it to the future world champion? You want to have me thrown out of every bar in town?
It is an unlikely story, isn't it?
Crazy.
Very well, Mr. Cannon. You've proved to me that you're not some idiotic practical joker, so you may go. Weber?
Well, thanks, Mr. Bart. It's nice to have met you.
Oh, and here's a $5 for your trouble.
Well, that's very generous.
I make a good friend, Mr. Cannon. Good morning.
Cannon arrived back at the office at 10:30 and outlined his experience with the champion. I was surprised that so able a pugilist should be a man of such culture, and wondered if the glorious days of Gentleman Jim Corbett were to be resuscitated. Cannon, idly twisting the morning newspaper in his hands, had no such lofty thoughts.
He didn't talk like a prize fighter. Apart from that cauliflower ear, he doesn't even look like a prize fighter.
Are you sure it was the Empire champion you saw this morning?
Oh, no doubt about that, Chief. I watched that fight from the commentator's booth through the telescope window. And that's better than ringside. I'd know Sammy Bart anywhere.
Well, then I vote we forget the whole incident.
That's what Sammy Bart wants us to do. I gave him the ear, and he gave me a $5.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Well, I got the impression that he was trying to buy me off. I don't like that. If I'm right, Sammy Bart is pushing me around. And I don't let anybody push me around, not even the cruiserweight champion. And what's more, if he was slipping me a $5 to keep my mouth shut, then he must know where that ear came from. Check?
And mate.
So that makes a skeleton in Sammy Bart's cupboard. A one-eared skeleton that's rattling a money box under his nose. And the champ is headed for the big time. Take a look at the morning newspaper. Read the headlines.
Sammy Bart to be crowned king in December. King?
Now, that's what they call the world champion, the king.
How quaint. And he'll receive a lot of money for this.
Well, with closed-circuit television rights, about $3 million.
Well, I think I'll get a trainer in for you, Cannon. Yes? Mr. Who? Ben?
I asked him over, Chief.
Oh, all right. Send him in, will you? Isn't that the commentator fellow you were telling me about?
That's the boy. I heard him make a few remarks about the champ and the challenger last night. I just wanted to hear more.
Oh, do come in, Mr. Ben.
Thank you. Hello there, Kenner. Enjoyed the fight last night?
Great. Mr. Ben, this is Mr. Mason, my chief.
How do you do?
I never better. Well, I got your message. What can I do for you?
Well, we got a small problem, Mr. Ben. It's about Sammy Bart, the new champ.
Uh-huh.
Tell me, where did he get that great cauliflower ear?
Lucky you. I looked it up in the ring manual. I thought I might slip it into the broadcast as a tidbit if the fight got dull. Not that I had much chance. He got it in a fight in Millwall. Not in the ring, either. A bunch of hoodlums worked him over with an iron bar. Why do you ask?
You said he had a twin brother.
That's right. Nigel Bart. Great fighter, too. Maybe even better than Sammy.
Well, what happened?
Say Nigel Bart?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he was campaigning in the States. He got hauled in on a larceny charge and was convicted. Now, if that happens to a fighter, he loses his license, so that was the end of Nigel Bart.
Tell me, has Sammy ever been to the States?
To fight? Oh, no. No, but I heard tell he was in America around the time his brother Nigel was sent up the river.
Mm-hmm. And this Nigel, has he got a cauliflower ear?
Not a mark on him. That's unusual for a prize fighter. Hey, look, what's all this about?
Look, I want to have a talk with Sammy Bart, and I want you to come with me.
Oh, you're kidding. Haven't you seen the special edition?
No.
Sammy Bart committed suicide this morning. Jumped from the roof of a block of flats.
And so it seemed that we should never know the solution to the mystery of the ear. There it was in the newspaper. Sammy Bart, suicide. Complete and final. And then the telephone rang. Assignments Unlimited.
Is that Mr. Mason?
Speaking.
Is there a Mr. Cannon with you?
Yes, he's one of my operators. He's with me at the moment, as a matter of fact. Would you like to speak to him?
Not now. I'd like to talk to you both in, say, half an hour. But I must stress that our conversation be in the privacy of your office and completely confidential.
Well, of course.
May I ask who's calling?
Your Mr. Cannon will know me. We had a little chat earlier this morning. My name is Bart.
I didn't tell Cannon immediately. First, I thanked Leslie Benn, the commentator, and promised to take a more active interest in fisticuffs. Only when he'd gone did I tell Cannon about the phantom caller. Except that he wasn't a phantom. He arrived on schedule, a magnificent specimen of manhood, vibrant and very much alive. He addressed one remark to Cannon, who answered with a grunt, and then we let him have his head.
I apologize for my rather high-handed treatment of you this morning, Mr. Cannon. You'll notice that I no longer have a cauliflower ear.
Yeah.
I came to you because my brother's death this morning closes a tragic chapter in our family life. I had to speak to you because Sammy died during the time you were in my hotel suite. Once you read about his death, you'd feel obliged to go to the police. I'm Nigel Bart, of course, Sammy's twin brother. It was I who fought and beat Ned Riley last night, not Sammy. We were identical twins. No one could tell us apart, except for the cauliflower ear and Sammy's mental instability. The ear you saw on me last night was fabricated from rubber and glued over my own. It was one reason why I had to finish the fight quickly. A blow from Ned might have dislodged it. And my brother Sammy went downhill when our father died. Kept bad company, seldom out of trouble. I did all I could, but it was one battle I didn't win. I'd gladly have lost all the others, but it wasn't to be. I took him to the United States with me, hoping that a new environment might change him. But he was caught by the police, charged with larceny. And that was before his brush with the Millwall gang that damaged his ear. Well, in short, I rang the changes, stood trial for him. You probably know the result. Sammy tried hard to go straight. He turned professional. He was all right for a time. It didn't last. The rubber ear was made a while ago as a joke. And last night, when Sammy was in no condition to go into the ring, I planned with him to swap places again. The fact he was missing his last big chance to make good threw him right off balance. Cutting off his ear and sending it to me was his last act of defiance before committing suicide.
Well, there you are. The story we called The King and the Cauliflower Ear.
Assignments unlimited. The number? Yes, 5995. Mr. Who? Lazenby. Yes, Mr. Lazenby. I'd be only too pleased to see you. You're just next door, you say? Yes, I look forward to seeing you. It's a matter of what? Coal. You need it. Well, if I may say so, we do as well. Anyway, we're seeing you.
Aubrey Mason at your service. At Assignments Unlimited, we do anything, anywhere, at any time.
33 Half Moon Street.
10 minutes later, Mr. Lazenby was ushered into my office.
Mr. Lazenby, sir.
Thank you. Come in, Mr. Lazenby. Please sit down.
Thank you, Mr. Mason. Now, I'm sorry to trouble you at such short notice.
Well, that's what we're here for, Mr. Lazenby.
You may wonder why I've come to see you. The fact of the matter is, I need help.
Well, that's the usual reason for people coming to see me. Now, how can we help you?
Lorry drivers. That's what I need. Lorry drivers.
Yes, in what connection?
Well, I have a firm, an engineering firm in Cumberland. That firm's got to keep running, and it can't run without coal. Now, my nearest stockyard is 40 miles away, and it's a nasty run in between.
I don't quite follow, Mr. Lazenby.
Well, the factory's situated up in the Fowls. It's a tough road in between. As I've already said, if I don't have coal, I can't keep my machines working, and I've only got 3 days' supply left.
Yes, Mr. Lazenby?
Well, the truth of the matter is, recently a series of accidents have taken place with my lorries. Oh, a whole heap of things. Punctures, big ends gone, and only yesterday I had a lorry go over Little Fowl.
Yes, but I still don't quite follow, Mr. Lazenby. I appreciate you have difficulties over coal supplies, but
Well, I don't see how we can help you.
I want a lorry driver. Not only one who is qualified as a lorry driver, but one that I can trust.
I see. You're suggesting that someone's trying to prevent you from obtaining coal.
Exactly. I'm sure of it.
Mr. Lazenby, there are a number of haulage contractors in this country. I can't say that I'm acquainted with them in your area, but why don't you get one of them to transport your coal for you?
What? With a railway strike on? You can't get anybody to carry anything for you for love nor money.
Oh, I see. So what you want is a man to drive one of your lorries and just a little more.
Yes, Mr. Mason, just a little more. I also want him to find out who is trying to break my business.
A few minutes later, Lazenby left my office. It appeared that his factory was close to Cross Fell in Cumberland. The nearest station was Carlisle, and that's where I was going to send my dear Cannon. It was cold in London. I wondered what it was like in Cumberland. At that moment, Cannon came back into the office.
Whoa, it's cold outside.
Funny you should say that. I've just had a man to see me about coal.
Well, it's about time, too, Chief. We'll all freeze to death before long.
No, not that sort of coal. Would you like to sit down, Cannon?
I know that look. What's cooking, Chief?
Well, it's all a matter of coal. By the way, you have got a heavy-duty license, haven't you?
Yes.
Well, you've got a little assignment, driving coal from Carlisle to Cross Fell.
Is that so? And where the heck is Cross Fell?
Oh, somewhere in Cumberland. You're booked in the 10:30 to Carlisle, and Mr. Lazenby will meet you at the station. He's flown back already.
Lazenby?
Yes, he's the man. His factory appears to be on the top of a mountain. Further, it appears that somebody is trying to do him down with his transport. It's up to you to find out who's trying to do who.
Well, thanks, Chief. That sounds an interesting assignment. Did you say 10:30? Well, I better shift. Third class, I suppose, as usual, or am I going cattle truck this time?
First class, Captain, with Mr. Lazenby's compliments. I hope you don't find it too cold up there.
Well, if I do, I'll send you a wee lump of ice registered post.
Cannon duly arrived at Carlisle Station, where he was met by Lazenby. From there, he was driven out to the factory. On the way, Cannon decided to learn a little bit more about his assignment.
So, what you want me to do, Mr. Lazenby, is to transport coal from Carlisle to your place at Cross Fell.
That's absolutely correct, Mr. Cannon. 35 miles. 25 miles of easy driving from the yard I showed you just now, with 10 miles of Al at the end. Now, it's that 10 miles that worries me. I've had a series of accidents lately, and all on that stretch. Aye, and now I've got me foreman in hospital with a smashed-up leg.
Is that so?
Aye, he's looking to be alive. Went over the edge at Little Fell. It appears his brakes failed. Now, I look after my transport, Mr. Cannon, and I just don't understand what's going on.
You mean you think somebody's trying to sabotage you, huh?
I think I'd better explain things a little more fully. Now then, I have a factory here in which I'm producing a form of plastic. It's indestructible, light. In fact, it's a revolutionary design for the buildings of bodies for cars, aircraft, canopies, and... Well, if you want to come near a home, refrigerators, stoves, anything you like. You may wonder why my factory's in the middle of nowhere. Well, the water that I draw from the streams here and the springs is ideal for my purpose. But it has its disadvantage. In order to keep my machinery turning, I must have coal. I'm short of it, and if I don't get it, production will come to a standstill. And it has a long way to come.
Then, I imagine you have some pretty important contracts.
Yes, I have. One in particular.
I see. Mr. Lazenby, you think that somebody's trying to grab that contract from you?
It appears to be that way. Look, Cannon, I don't want you to think I don't trust my staff. They're a fine lot of men. I've had them a long time. Nevertheless, there's something, somewhere, going on that I don't understand. The occasional puncture or breakdown, yes, but not a series of mishaps as has happened to me just lately.
Yeah, it's certainly food for thought.
Anyway, you'll be staying with me. Mill it over in your mind tonight. Tomorrow morning, I'll get you out on your first run. Now, what I want you to do is to keep your eyes open. And if there's anything that seems odd to you...
Cannon rang me the following morning from Carlisle. He was his usual efficient self. Assignments Unlimited.
Hello, Chief. Is that you?
Oh, it is indeed, Captain.
How are the fells? Lots of snowballing and that sort of thing?
Oh, Chief, please.
By the way, where are you speaking from?
The coal yard in Carlisle. I've just come in to collect my first load.
Yes? Well, it seems you have nothing else to report.
No, not really. Except I slept in the baronial suite last night, and the roads to this crossfell are like nothing you've ever seen. Hairpin bends and drops into oblivion on all sides.
Well, if you've no more news, have fun and keep me posted.
Okay, Chief. There's something going on here, but I don't know what. How are we doing, boys?
Hello, John.
Fine. Well, if I can find my way back, here's some more coal for Mr. Lazenby. While man's a dustman, he wears a dustman's hat. He wears gold-blimey trousers, and he lives in a council flat. Well, this is no flat, and it's coal, not garbage I'm carrying, but it'll do. Oh, man's a dustman. Jeepers, I've forgotten that corner, and here comes that hill. No, what? Uh-oh. Doesn't seem we're gonna make it. I don't like the sound of that. Well, let's have a look. Well, there's certainly enough heat. It's not boiling. No. Well, there's water. Well, let's have a look under. Yep. Under. Yeah. Oh, that seems all right. Well, then what's this? No plug on the sump. And no plug means no oil. Yep. It seems our Mr. Lazenby is right. Somebody's trying to do something to somebody. Well, things are looking up. Two lovely slim ankles, and they don't belong to this truck. Now, come on, Cannon. Investigate. Well, hello.
Hello. Are you in some sort of trouble?
Well, I suppose you could call it that. It appears that some palooka has annexed the plug from my sump.
That's bad. Are you working for Lazenby? I've never seen you before.
Yeah, I started in today.
Ah. Seems as though you're in a bit of a jam. Look, if you like, I can drive you through to Lazenby's engineering.
Would you? That'd be most kind. I certainly can't move this heap. Are you, you sure it's no trouble?
Not at all. Mr.
Cannon's the name, David Cannon.
Mine's Masters.
Masters? Well, I seem to have seen that name somewhere around here.
Well, that is possible. There are quite a lot of us in the neighborhood. Anyway, jump in, Mr. Cannon.
Thank you. Oh, hold on. I'll just get the ignition key. Not that a charge of dynamite could move that. Well, let's go, Miss Masters.
Well, there we are, Mr. Cannon. Delivered to your door.
I can't thank you enough, Miss Masters. Well, by the way, I don't know how long I'll be up here, but I'm only on a temporary job. Maybe we could meet up sometime. Perhaps I could contact you.
That would be fine. Look, let me give you a card. I got one in the pocket here. Yes, here we are.
Oh, thanks. Fellside Haulage Contractors. Contractors? Well, that's why I've seen the Masters on the side of some of the lorries. So, you're contractors. Are you the daughter then?
No, I'm Masters.
You're... Is that so? Well, how's business?
Oh, fair. We could do with more.
And do with more? But I understood that Mr. Lazenby couldn't get transport to bring coal to his factory. That's strange.
What's strange, Mr. Cannon?
Well, I also understood that Lazenby had asked everybody to help him with the carting of his coal.
Oh, he hasn't asked us, Mr. Cannon. He'd be only too pleased to help him. Very pleased, in fact.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll mention it to him. Anyway, thanks for the ride.
It's been a pleasure.
Well, thanks, Miss Masters. Be seeing you.
I hope so, Mr. Cannon. And I hope you have better luck with the rest of your contract.
Watching the car as it drove away. Strange. Yes, certainly strange. Miss Masters, fellow-side haulage contractors. What was it she'd said? We'd be only too pleased to help him. Very pleased, in fact. Yet Mr. Lazenby had said, I just can't get anybody to help. There's a strike and nobody will help me carry my coal. Cannon stood for a moment, and then turning, walked towards Mr. Lazenby's office. A few points had to be sorted out.
Mr. Lazenby, I'm sorry to disturb you, but there are one or two things that I'd like to get straight.
Yes, Mr. Cannon.
First of all, there's something that puzzles me. I understand that you couldn't get any other transport for your coal. In other words, you'd asked everybody to help you, but no joy, there just wasn't anybody.
That's quite correct, Cannon. There wasn't anybody. Anyway, not the last time I asked.
Mr. Lazenby, I've just been dropped back here by a charming young lady, a Miss Masters.
Oh, yes. Fell-side haulage contractors.
Well, what's wrong with them?
Nothing that I know of, but when I asked them to help me, they were fully booked.
I see. Look, I know it's none of my business, but can you tell me a little bit more about yours?
You mean my business?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, you're a reputable firm, and I'm prepared to let you know a little bit more about mine. Cannon, I have processed a plastic material. It's light, and it's as hard as steel. I'd say even harder. It's a material called tonolithene. Now, I have a contract to supply this material to one of the biggest aircraft firms in the country, the Delta Aircraft Corporation. It's possible that others have heard of my invention. Incidentally, I hold the world patent rights, and if they got in first, well, it could make quite a difference to John Lazenby.
Yeah, I understand. You said Delta. Well, you're certainly starting at the top, and it certainly seems that somebody's trying to do you dirt. Now, can you help me at all? Is there anybody that you can think of that might want to see you down?
I can think of a lot. But if we come just a little nearer home, I'm not all that happy about Masters haulage contractors.
Yeah, that's what I've been thinking. Yet she's such a nice kid.
Mr. Cannon, I thought you were impervious to the wiles of the fairer sex.
Fairer sex in that. She's got a couple of mighty nice ankles.
Lazenby? Oh, hello, Mr. Levin. Yes, well, you see, I've had some difficulties. I can assure you that I'm doing everything I can. Everything, Mr. Levin. I appreciate that. Your position. Oh, I'm sorry that you feel that way. Yes, I do assure you there'll be no more delays. I'll get the next delivery to you as soon as I possibly can. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Levin. Yes, I'll do everything I can.
Trouble, Mr. Lazenby?
That was Delta. I've got to get another delivery to them. If I don't, I'm in trouble.
Okay, Mr. Lazenby. Don't worry. This is the sort of assignment I like. How much coal do you need?
Oh, as much as we can get. We can't afford to stop production. I've arranged with Jameson on the coal boat to keep the yard open tonight. We'll run coal through all tonight.
Well, it sounds as though I'm going to be busy.
Yes, Cannon, you are. You're in charge tonight. We'll have 3 drivers on, and I don't want any mistakes. That coal's got to come through, no matter what the cost.
Yes, Cannon certainly had a tough assignment on this occasion. It was vital that coal reach Lazenby's. It takes a lot to shake Cannon, and he, as much as anybody else, was determined that the coal would get through that night. After seeing Lazenby, his mind turned to what he felt must be the opposition. He decided to ring Miss Masters.
3, 6, 1, 8.
Fellside haulage contractors, good afternoon.
Hello, can I speak to Miss Masters, please?
Certainly. Would you hold on, please?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Hello? Yes?
Hello there. It seems an age since I've seen you.
Oh, Mr. Cannon. I don't think it's more than 2 or 3 hours ago. Anyway, it's nice to hear from you. Are you in trouble again?
No. I just wondered if you were tied up this evening, say around 5 o'clock?
Oh, I'm afraid I am. One of those business dues.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, maybe tomorrow.
That sounds fun. Will you ring me in the morning and confirm that?
Yeah, I'll do that.
That evening, Cannon went down to the yard early. He wanted to keep an eye on things. One of the trucks was just leaving.
Hope you have a nice trip. So do I, mate, though I'll be surprised if I get there in one piece. Seems there's hoodoo on the place.
Ah, forget it. You'll get there. Anyway, I'm following you in. See you in Carlisle.
Okay, June.
I hope he does make it.
Cannon leaned against a wall. He found it easier to think that way. There was no doubt that the transport was being deliberately sabotaged. Yes, but by whom? Masters' haulage contractors led the field, of course, but Cannon didn't like that idea, not at all. The truth of the matter was, he'd taken a distinct liking to young Miss Masters. He stared out over the yard. In the evening shadows, he could see the 2 lines of trucks. 10 there had been. 1 was out. Of the remainder, 6 lay idle, useless heaps of metal. There'd only be 3 on the road that night, and his would be one of them. His? Cannon's eyes narrowed. Yes, his. Where was it? Funny he'd left it at the end of the line. Suddenly he went rigid. Was it his imagination, or had he seen someone by the trucks there? He melted into the shadows, moving swiftly towards them.
So there is somebody there. Well, you got a little something coming to you that you didn't expect. Okay, Bonzo, come on.
Oh, please, you're hurting me.
Oh, Miss Masters. But what are you doing here?
I came to see you. I was passing and I thought I'd just drop in.
Uh-huh. And what became of the business do that you were going to?
Well, it finished early.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's all there is to it. As I told you, I came to see you. I thought perhaps you might be able to persuade Mr. Lazenby to give us some of his cottage. You see, things aren't too good with us in the town at present.
That must have been quite a dirty meeting you were at.
Dirty meeting? What do you mean?
Your hands, Miss Masters, they're covered in oil. You got some on your face as well.
Oh, that. I mean, no, my car packed up on me as I was coming
Yeah,
here.
you go tell that to the Marines.
I'm telling you the truth.
You see these trucks here? Most of them are dead ducks, sabotaged. And now I find you here, opposition haulage, who wants Lazenby's, with oil all over your hands. It won't do, Miss Masters. You've got a little explaining to do to Mr. Lazenby. Now, do you come quietly, or do I have to carry you?
I'll come, of course, but you're mistaken, Mr. Cannon. Really you are.
Well, I sincerely hope so for your own sake. Well, come on, then.
Things weren't panning out at all to Cannon's liking. If it had been a large, tough man, he wouldn't have minded. But this slip of a girl, he found himself hoping that he was wrong. It was as they were passing one of the windows of the workshops that Cannon stopped suddenly. Hey, hold it. Shh, quiet.
Can you hear anything?
Yes. It sounds as if someone's sawing.
Yeah, that's just what somebody is doing, with a hacksaw, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, you follow me and keep quiet. It's in the workshop here. Well, I'll be... That's my truck.
Yes. And there's someone underneath it. You can see his legs sticking out.
Okay, you stay here. We'll soon settle this. Right, out you come, whoever you are. Come out, come on. Well, you...
You've guessed it. It was Lazenby himself. When Cannon caught him, he was sawing through the brake fluid pipes. Just close to the factory was a steep hill. Any undue pressure to the brakes, and, well, there'd have been one less truck in Mr. Lazenby's transport, and in all probability, one less driver. Why should he want to sabotage his own transport, you may ask? Well, it was really very simple. Lazenby was bound under a tight contract to the Delta Aircraft Company. Although he held the world patent rights to his product, tonellophene, he could sell to no one but Delta. Lazenby was a greedy man. He was being well paid by them, but Boeing had offered him nearly twice as much. But the only way he could get out of his contract with Delta was if they were to take the initiative and get rid of him first due to non-delivery. But his policy of sabotage had the reverse effect, in that he could obtain no one to drive his trucks. In desperation, he turned to us. What he overlooked was the fact that we're pretty used to this sort of thing, and Cannon's certainly no fool. Lazenby got a stiff jail sentence, and another file closed on what I called a bag of coal for Mr. Lazenby.
Oh, boy.
Honey, you sound so tired.
I know, I'm tired, but I just can't get any sleep.
You need to try Qualia Night by Neurohacker Collective. We're an affiliate of theirs, and their links are in our description below.
What's that?
Qualia Night. Click on the link below, and you'll be getting to sleep in no time.
Thanks, honey. I'll give it a try right now.
Brought to you by Hearth & Home Entertainment.
The son of a rich and powerful Maharaja alone in a strange and foreign country will present many problems of security. But the Maharaja is an intelligent man and must needs be resourceful. He is much traveled and not unaccustomed to such a state of affairs. It is not unlikely then that the services be obtained of a bodyguard from this foreign country in order that the small boy may come to no harm. It would seem that this advertised organization enjoys a splendid reputation and should easily provide what is required. Grosvenor 5995 is the telephone number, and the address 33 Half Moon Street.
Aubrey Mason at your service. At Assignments Unlimited, we do anything, anywhere, at any time.
33 Half Moon Street.
The man was small and wiry. He sat opposite me, his delicate hands folded in his lap, the flash of his teeth accentuated by his walnut face. It was a face devoid of any particular character, yet he cut an imposing figure with his silk-turbaned head and flowing eastern doublet. I couldn't remember having met a Pakistani civil servant before, and yet Mr. Ranjit Singh exuded an air of official civility. We never have got to first base on the What's My Line show. After the preliminary courtesies, he confirmed my guess at his occupation.
I am Sahib in the service of the Maharaja of Wanpur. It is a small province of my country, Pakistan.
Oh, I've heard of the Maharaja, of course. His picture was in this morning's paper.
And then you will know, Sahib, that he is here in an official capacity during the meeting of the Commonwealth Prime Minister.
I think I read that he's a financial expert, if I'm not mistaken.
And that is the Maharaja's position, Sahib. He is the private advisor to the Prime Minister in matters of money. I might add that the Maharaja is exceedingly wealthy.
And what is it you would like us at Assignments Unlimited to do for you, Mr. Singh?
In a way, it is a matter of state and therefore highly confidential.
You may rely upon our discretion, Mr. Singh.
The Maharaja has a small son, aged 4 years. It is an only son. As you probably know, in my country, the lineage of a title is passed on only through the male members of the family. The heir to the court of Wanpur is this small boy. In the event of his demise, the title on the Maharaja's death would pass to another male member of the family. It is for this reason that the only son is jealously guarded. For security reasons, his movements are kept secret, and yet it is commonly known that he accompanies his father wherever he goes. Do I make myself clear, Sahib?
Indeed you do. But isn't the lad provided with a bodyguard?
Sometimes, yes. But if a large bodyguard was brought to your so well-disciplined country, the motive might be misconstrued.
I take it, then, that you're looking for a bodyguard from here?
Yes, Sahib. And also a female nurse to care for him.
You mean he's come to England without his nanny?
Although it is known that the boy is in England, his whereabouts are a secret. The Maharaja has rented a large house in Sloane Street through an agent. One of my countrywomen attired in the sari would be most conspicuous. It is for this reason that we require the services of an English nurse.
Well, if you'll forgive me, Mr. Singh, the lad living in Sloane Street would need to be exercised in the park. An English nanny with a Pakistani lad would be even more conspicuous.
The Maharaja is here for but a week. During that time, the boy would not leave the house. A week's confinement will do him no harm, Sahib. The house is fully equipped, and only day-to-day supplies need be purchased in Knightsbridge.
It seems the Maharaja doesn't believe in taking chances, Mr. Singh.
Unfortunately, there have already been attempts on the child's life and other efforts to kidnap him.
Uneasy lies the head of state.
The sole heir in any eastern country has an uneasy tenure, Sergeant Mason. Can you provide us with such a bodyguard and nurse?
I think so. In fact, I can do even better.
One of my female operators is not only a qualified nurse, she's a karate expert, and therefore a bodyguard in her own right. Accompanied by one of my men, they will together constitute a formidable security screen.
I could wish for no better.
Excuse me, I'll call them in.
Yes, sir.
And Miss Fairweather, send in Gail Hamilton and Cannon, will you?
Yes, sir.
Would it be proper to consider payment now, sir?
Well, as you wish. What sort of fee had you in mind?
50 guineas a day, all expenses.
Well, that's very generous.
I did explain that the Maharaja is extremely wealthy, sir, and his son is the sole heir.
Then thank you, Mr. Singh. Now, Cannon, eat Gail, will you?
The broad's abroad, Chief. Ouch! What can so generous an exterior be so mean inside?
Easy, Cannon.
Oh, stop fooling around and come in.
You sent for us, Mr. Mason?
Yes, Gail. I'd like you to meet Mr. Ranjit Singh, Gail Hamilton, and Mr. Cannon.
How do you do?
How do you do, Mr. Singh?
And Mr. Singh has a week's job for you, as nurse to a small Pakistani boy, and also as his bodyguard.
Which one's the nurse, Chief?
Gail, of course. No, don't be facetious.
Well, she's liable to use chainmail for the kids' diapers.
I'd like to remind you that I'm a qualified nurse, Mr. Cannon, and if I'm to endure your company for a whole week, I'd advise you to keep a civil tongue in your head.
Well, the voice of Florence McNightlight.
Oh, take no notice of them, Mr. Singh. Childish banter is their one failing.
Mr. Cannon and the Mem Sahib fill me with the greatest confidence.
Right. But then let's get down to business. A 4-year-old Pakistani boy is to be taken to a house in Knightsbridge and kept out of sight for 1 week. Mr. Singh here will brief you on all the details and tell you where to pick the lad up. Understood?
Yes, Chief.
Okay, but what's so special about a small Pakistani boy?
He is heir to a vast fortune. From the moment you collect him, there will be those who will take him from you by force.
Cannon's granite face slipped into a smile. Anyone could tell he was pleased with the assignment. Gail remained impassive, standing there demurely, listening to the details supplied by Mr. Ranjit Singh. The boy was to be collected at a barber shop off Oxford Circus and conveyed by car to the house in Sloane Street. The diminutive Pakistani official pressing home the point that publicity was to be avoided at all costs. Half an hour later, the office car was parked ready for exit on the ground floor of a nearby multiple garage, and Cannon with Gail walking towards the barber shop down Oxford Street.
Just a minute, Cannon.
Oh, what is it now?
The new beetle boots in the window.
Look, we are not on a shopping spree.
I just wanted to look at the price. There's no need to be so testy all the time.
Look, I repeat, we have no time for window gazing. Anyway, what would you want with beetle boots? Jack boots would be more in your line.
Is that so? Well, let me tell you.
Oh, for Pete's sake, come on.
Oh, all right. You know, you just don't know how to treat a lady.
Wrong. I do know how to treat a lady.
Mr. Cannon,
Look, there's the barber shop. You wait outside.
What for?
It's an establishment for gentlemen, no dames.
Rubbish. Who do you think usually takes small boys to have their hair cut? The butler?
How would I know?
Exactly. This is not America. We as civilized know how to treat young gentlemen.
Touche. Come on in. Here we are. Wally's, gentleman's hairdresser. This is the joint.
That must be him in the corner. Oh, poor little chap. He looks quite lost.
Poor. The kid's a millionaire.
Good morning, sir. May I be of assistance?
Yes, buddy. The kid in the corner, is he clipped?
I beg your pardon, sir.
Did you give him a haircut yet?
I would have thought that was obvious, sir.
We've come to collect him.
Collect him?
Well, what's the matter with you? You got cloth ears?
Weren't you expecting us?
We had a telephone call asking us to keep the young Maharaja until a member of the Pakistani legation arrived with a message. I passed on the message to the 3 gentlemen waiting outside.
What 3 gentlemen?
They're in the corridor. I understand that they were something to do with the young gentleman.
Is that right?
Are you from the legation, madame?
Yes, we are. We were sent by the legation's representative anyway. He has to come with us.
Then you will not be requiring service here, sir.
No service.
Well, thank heavens for that.
Well, maybe they do allow women in this joint at that.
Oh, come on. Hello, Ramat. Your name is Ramat, isn't it? Is that all you can do, nod your head?
One thing, he understands English. That's lucky for you.
I don't know. It's not really important. Gurun Bukhai, Ramat. Tikai Mensab?
Well, sit on my head and call me a sofa.
You're to come with us, Ramat. I'm going to look after you, and we're going to play lots of lovely games.
You come from my father, Mensab?
Yes, your father sent us.
Then I come. I was tired of waiting. There are no toys to play with. In the Napi shop in Kanpur, they have many toys. Do you know the nut bishop in Corpo, Sahib?
Me? No, I'm not married, son. In any case, we call it a diaper.
Nati is Urdu for Baba.
No kidding. So that's what they've been wrapping around my face after a shave.
Oh, come on, you great big lug.
I think Big Sap's very funny.
You know, I'm not sure I go for the kid's sense of humor.
Don't let it bother you. He probably thinks you're the reincarnation of a Buddhist idol.
Very funny.
Come on, run it. We haven't got far to go. We have a car waiting nearby.
I'm tired of this place. There are no toys like the Nappy in Conpo.
You just wait until we get home, run it, and you'll have everything you want. Through here.
Just a minute, Gail. I'll go through first.
Why?
The 3 men that nappy flapper spoke about. Come on, let's go.
Hey, Joe. Here goes the kid with the bloke and a woman. Get her quick. But cover Louie and me. Here.
Yeah?
Just a minute.
This is where you've had your chip.
Yeah.
Grab the woman, bro.
Just for a story.
Wow. That was the guy they called Bert.
He was the first one to embrace the arms of Morpheus. He's under the banister sleeping like a baby.
Hey, you did that to him? He looks like a prize fighter, and he must weigh over 250 pounds.
I can look after myself, Mr. Cannon.
That is the understatement of a lifetime.
Shall we go to the house in Sloane Street now?
What about these babies? Shouldn't we hand them over to the cops?
Mr. Ranjit Singh made a special point that we should avoid publicity at all costs.
Yeah, that's right, he did. But these gorillas tried to snatch the kid.
I know.
And the snatch record is a capital offense.
Not in England. We'd have to prove their intention, and that would mean publicity with a capital P.
Okay, you don't have to spell it out.
And there's little Run up here to think about.
Yeah, you're right. That the poor kid must be scared still.
Big Sab is very funny.
You know, like I said, I don't go for the kid's sense of humor.
I think the child has royal discernment.
Royal discernment, is it? Well, I've got a funny feeling that we two are in for a king-sized packet of trouble.
Cannon and Gail Hamilton lost no time in taking the young Pakistani charge out of the building and into the office car. Not until they were safely behind the locked doors of the house in Sloane Street did they breathe easily again. Gail, to the grudging admiration of Cannon, set about preparing an Indian dish for Umut, and my top operator, with time on his hands, rang the office and reported to me. I was rather disturbed when I heard about the 3-man attack on them, and only then did I realize that Ranjit Singh had not left a forwarding address or a telephone number where I could contact him. I considered bringing the Maharaja suite at the Waldorf, but remembering Singh's plea for no publicity, and knowing that young Ramat was safe, I decided to wait until the little civil servant called on me. As it was, Cannon had hardly put the phone down in the house in Sloane Street when it rang. It was Ranjit Singh on the other end of the line.
Yeah?
Is that the Sahib, Cannon?
Yeah, is that you, Mr. Singh?
Yes, Sahib. Is all well? Do you have the boy with you?
Sure, he's having an Indian summer.
And no trouble, I hope.
Well, some. 3 guys jumped us. And from what I could make out, their names were Joe, Louie, and Bert. We dealt with them and brought the kid here.
Excellent, Sahib. Did anyone see you arrive?
Not a soul, but you sound out of breath. You all right?
I've had an unpleasant experience. Our enemies are determined to lay their hands on the Ramat at all costs, it would seem. I was apprehended by 2 gentlemen posing as plainclothes policemen. I did not realize the deception until it was almost too late.
Posing as cops. Say, these gorillas will stop at nothing.
Fortunately, I was able to escape in time, but I'm feeling a little shaken. Do take care, Sahib Cannon. The police have no reason to question you. If any bogus police visit you, I trust you will deal with them as you did with the 3 men at the barber shop.
You leave everything to me, Mr. Singh.
I have complete confidence in you, Sahib Cannon. Goodbye.
Thanks, and so long, see.
Hurry up, Cannon. Supper's getting cold.
Coming.
Oh, there you are at last. What were you doing on the phone to the chief? Giving him a blow-by-blow description of the fight? What on earth's the matter with you?
I was thinking.
The process is obviously too painful. Don't.
You know, after I spoke to the chief, Singh rang.
Did you tell him about the barber shop?
I told him about the 3 monkeys who jumped us.
That's what I mean.
But I didn't tell him they jumped us in the barber shop.
So?
He mentioned the barber shop.
Well, perhaps he got the details from the chief.
That's impossible. I only just told the chief.
But...
As I put the receiver back on the hook, it rang immediately. It was Singh. It would have been physically impossible for him to have spoken to Mason.
Then Ranjit Singh assumed the fight took place in the barber shop.
Are you kidding? What would 3 beaten-up jerks like that be doing in that cream puff parlor? Unless they had a good reason.
Cannon, your supper's getting cold. They had a reason, and we know what it was.
To snatch the kid?
What else?
Then tell me something, Mata Hari. Why didn't they go right inside that scented snipper's den and lift the kid from right under his Roman nose? Tell me that.
They were waiting for him to come out.
Why? He was all alone, and they knew about the phone call. They knew somebody was coming to contact the kid. Why wait? Don't make sense. And another thing, who took the kid there in the first place?
You know, I never thought of that. Chicken?
Oh, don't be stupid. You know I'm not chicken.
I mean, do you want some of this curried chicken?
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess so.
Listen to Mr. Grateful. I spent an hour making this for Ramat and you.
You know, it looks to me like we might be in a spot. This is a fine time to go domesticated.
Gee, I pity your wife if ever you get married. But if those thugs weren't there to steal the child, then they must have been his official bodyguard.
Exactly.
And if those men were Ramat's bodyguard, then we...
Kidnapped the kid ourselves.
Oh.
And you know something, baby? The public hangman don't play games when he works the Indian rope trick.
To say that my operators were a little dismayed would be putting it mildly. Kidnapping is not a capital offense in England. It is, however, in America. And although Cannon was on the right side of the Atlantic, he found it hard to erase the spectre of the executioner from his mind. He relayed his story to me, but I had no means of appeasing his anxiety. I haven't the faintest idea of how I could contact Ranjit Singh. I console myself with the thought that young Ramat was safe for the moment anyway. In fact, in the hands of Cannon and Gail Hamilton, he was probably safer than he'd ever been. It was Gail who hit upon the idea for the solution to the mystery.
I've got it, Cannon.
You've had it.
No, listen to me. We don't know where to find Ranjit Singh, right?
Yeah, that's right.
But if he's genuinely in the service of the Maharaja, then that gentleman will know where he can be found.
But he asked for no publicity.
If he's not genuine, that's just what he would ask for. Don't you see it? A little man called Ranjit Singh, who lives in England and has never set eyes on the Maharaja of Bhwanpur, hits upon an idea whereby he can kidnap the Maharaja's only son and hold him to ransom without doing a thing himself.
Hey, you catch on fast.
Oh, shut up. He comes along to Assignment Unlimited, posing as the Maharaja's personal aide. He knows that Ramat here will be at the barber shop at a certain time, and he also knows the kid will have a bodyguard hidden in the background somewhere. So he engages us with a cock and bull story about kidnappers. He hires this house and instructs us to pick up the child and bring him here. But he first of all instills in our minds that an attempt may be made to kidnap Ramat.
So we think the genuine bodyguard, who naturally try and stop us lifting the kid, are the kidnapper.
Yeah.
We beat him up and bring the kid here. Now, all Ranjit Singh has to do is post off the ransom note and collect the rupees. It's a very sweet setup.
But all we have to do is to contact the Maharaja. He'll know by now that his son has been kidnapped. If what we think is true, the bodyguard will have told him.
And if I know anything about rich fathers, he'll keep quiet about it and pay up to get his infant back.
He won't have to. Not if I deliver the ransom note.
You?
Why not? If he accepts the ransom note, then we'll know Singh is a phony. I'll simply tell the Maharaja the truth and hand Ramat back to him.
And how do you get next to the Maharaja?
By posing as a columnist on a woman's magazine. They always fall for that. I'll put on my best dress and enter the fourth estate. Maharaja, here I come. Good afternoon. My name's Gail Hamilton from Woman's World. I have an appointment with the Maharaja of Bhwanpur.
The Maharaja's in his suite, miss. 309. I'll wait.
No, don't bother. I was told to meet the secretary in the foyer. I'll wait. I just wanted to check that he was here.
The secretary went up a few moments ago, miss. You'll have to see him first anyway. Let me tell him you're here.
I'd rather wait if he asks, if you don't mind. It's a rather important story, and you know how these Orientals regard women.
The way I'm regarding you, miss?
You'd better be careful. You might end up with a date.
Well, I'm free from 6.
I bet you say that to all the working girls. 30. Thank you. 306. There's 7. 309. This is luxury if you like.
Tommy?
Hello? Anyone here?
Miss Hamilton. Good afternoon.
Ranjit Singh. Then you're the Maharaja's secretary.
I beg your pardon, Miss Hamilton?
Nothing. I just came to report that all is well.
That was not necessary. But since you're here, how is Ramat?
Oh, he's fine. Well, I won't keep you, Mr. Singh. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mamsahab.
still don't know if he's genuine. Even if he is the Maharaja's secretary, he still could have engineered it. Probably works for 10 rupees a day. Kidnapping Ramat would mean a fortune to him. He would know the child's every movement.
Talking to yourself, Miss Hamilton, that's bad.
What? Oh, you.
Sounds like the interview didn't go too well. I told you to let me ring him first. Did you see the Maharaja?
Not a chance. I came to see a millionaire, and all I got was the secretary.
Ranjit Singh. Well, he's not really the secretary, you know.
He's not?
A relation, I believe. Anyway, if you wanted a story about a millionaire, you should have interviewed him. He's got twice the money the Maharaja's got. They say that Ranjit Singh is the third richest man in the world.
Cannon! Cannon!
Cannon! Cannon! Cannon, darling!
Take it easy, baby. I'll be okay. Lost a bit of blood.
There's no on the floor.
They're deader than a mummified fake here. They were after the kid. I didn't have the strength to get before.
And Ramat?
He's safe. He's in the attic. I hid him there.
You fought them with your bare hands?
Why not? You got a monopoly on karate?
Oh, Cannon, I shouldn't have left you. I'll get some bandages.
No. First get on to the chief. Tell him to ring the cops. Ranjit Singh. They gotta stop Ranjit Singh.
Cannon's suspicions were right the first time. Ranjit Singh organized the kidnapping using my operators as his unsuspecting henchmen. But Singh wasn't after ransom money. He was next in line for succession as the Maharaja of Wanpur. Once little Ramat was out of the way. He took no chances. Even his story of the plainclothes police was a fake, invented as a precaution in case Cannon was tracked down by the forces of law and order. Fortunately, Cannon was on his guard and was able to deal with Ranjit Singh's hired assassins when they arrived. The Maharaja's gratitude allowed Cannon to take a month's recuperative leave in the south of France. He insisted on Gail Hamilton going with him, since she was a qualified nurse. Well, that's what he said anyway. And so he wasn't present to read the report in the press about Ranjit Singh's suicide. And that's how the file came to be marked the Swan Song of Mr. Singh.